Hi everyone, and welcome to the Haunted Manor. If you want to take your first step towards really spooking up your house, then I will share some advice about getting started in home haunting. Stay with me.
Welcome to the haunted.
Before we get too far in understanding how to be a home haunter, it's important to understand what a home haunter is. Now, this is not simply defined as someone who makes a haunted house. A home haunter is a homeowner who transforms the look of their property for their neighborhood or community to provide them an attraction or an experience. It involves a great deal of work to create a display that will entertain your audience. Most of the time, this is known as a haunt, and most of the time, it's intended to be scary. And this occurs usually during the month of October, leading up to Halloween. Also, and this is key, it is more than having above average holiday spirit. Producing a haunt is a dedicated undertaking that crosses a line into becoming a lifestyle choice. 3 out of 4 Americans have some acknowledgement towards Halloween. They give out candy, they dress in costumes, they carve jack-o'-lanterns, they visit Halloween attractions. Well, home haunters provide such an attraction. It could be just a yard display, or it could be a garage walkthrough, a total home walkthrough. It could be a backyard maze, a theatrical show. It could be an engineered ride, an immersive experience, or a combination of any of those things. For the purpose of this video, we're going to explore the topic of becoming a novice home haunter, and we're going to leave everything else surrounding haunted houses, intermediate and professional home haunts, and other Halloween enthusiasms for other videos. I'm also going to assume that many of you have little to no experience decorating on the scale of a home haunt. Few have the appetite to take it to the next level. If that describes you, then you're exactly who I'm talking to. And if you've dabbled further than this, just bear with me. While I'm talking to the newbies, my goal is to help you achieve your goal, no matter your proficiency. Your first step towards becoming a haunter is to have a concept in your mind, a vision really, for what you're trying to do. Imagine what you want your home to look like. What is your theme? Do this before you do anything. Don't spend any money or time doing anything until you know what your vision is. If you're having trouble, then consider this. Pick a main character that's going to be in your haunt, maybe something that you're going to dress up as, or pick a main feature, perhaps an animatronic that you're going to focus all your attention towards. Now, imagine where that character or feature is located. What does their residence look like? Where would they be found? Think castle, swamp, dungeon, woods, tombs, farm, abandoned warehouse, hospital, graveyard. Just be careful that your decision is supposed to easily allow your audience to determine where they're at, what they're looking at, to make sense of what's going on around them. You want their imagination to flow, and you want their experience to be a good one. If your audience doesn't understand what they're looking at, if they can't relate, if it doesn't make sense to them, they won't appreciate it. And I want you to succeed. I want you to do well, not turn people away and confuse them. And don't worry at this point if your theme seems too complex or out of reach. If you don't think you're able to do it at this point, don't worry about any of that. You can accomplish anything that you put your mind to. You can create a convincing scene no matter what. Also, realize that haunts are created over time. They're not born overnight, and you shouldn't become afraid of what you can make. My next piece of advice is to start capturing your ideas somewhere. Make a file folder on your laptop. Find an app on your phone. Write it down someplace. Try a combination of things, but whatever you do, you need to start putting down your ideas in a way so that you can refer back to it. Sketch it out if you're capable. This is going to be the birth of your haunt. You're going to gestate on it, add to it, change it at whatever pace you choose to. And it's okay to be as elaborate as you want at this point. Find pictures or videos for inspiration. Look through books and magazines. Do some research. Hop online. Sometimes when you run across what's been done before, it helps you to decide what you want to do. If you want to change something in your haunt, if you want to adopt something that you find, if you want to do the whole thing differently, whatever it is, you're learning what you like at this point. All right, so you have your vision. You've collected some inspiration for that vision. Now it's time to plan your approach. And that starts by writing down all the features of your haunt. Your own costume, if you'll have one, specific props, your facade, sounds, music, your color scheme. You're writing down all your ideas. Your goal is to decide a to-do list to make your haunt a reality. And if prioritizing them is a challenge, then assign wants versus needs. Yes, everything can be a want, but there are some needs to every vision. And I admit, this can be an activity that can cause a lot of people to lose steam. I mean, just thinking about all the things that have to be done can be overwhelming, and it would just make you want to walk away at that point. But when you honestly make a list of everything that you have to do, and you start to see how big it really gets, you know what you're capable of, and you're learning your limits, and that's important as well. Now, after separating them out and you've started to assess which ones are more important than others in your mind, the next thing that you should do is put an assessment of some financial difficulty against it, or an ease of completion. You need a ranking of what it's going to take to get that one done. No matter who you are, if you're brand new beginner, if you're absolute professional at all of this, you're a person with a life and a budget. You can't accomplish everything all at once, and you probably can't afford everything at the same time. So I'm just saying that it's a good idea to put some sort of a rating next to this. And to make life simple, you could just do an arbitrary amount. Pick like $25 increments, and put all the $25 items or less in one bucket. And that way you know what it's really going to take, what are going to be the bigger things to chew on. All right, so you got your vision, your theme, you got your inspirations, you started to write down all the things that you want in your haunt, you prioritized them, now you know roughly how much it's going to take to get them done and how much they're going to cost to implement. Your next step is to figure out how much time and money you're willing to invest into your haunt annually. This way you know how much you're able to do right now in this first year and over time. Will you initially limit your expenditures to something like $100? $500? You pick. Time's a little trickier because time compounds on itself. Over time, you're buying and investing new things, new additions into your haunt, but you're also going to need to focus some time towards maintaining what you have. Things are going to become more of a requirement every year. So be careful and respectful towards yourself, your life, and your other responsibilities. And I feel at this time it's really important to say that whatever you invest into this, remember that it's going to be taking away from other things going on in your life. So your friends and your family are far more important. Don't impact that for sake of your haunt. If anything, you should try to include them in it. As far as promising to yourself or making a resolution for the time that you're gonna put towards this. You could say something like, I'm never gonna start working on this until September, and then I'm only gonna give a little bit of time on the weekends until it's set up. You could also say, I'm just gonna put in a couple hours here or there every month all year long. Whatever you choose to tell yourself is fine. I just want to be sure that you understand that your estimate of time is going to be for all your market research, your haunt planning, your purchase of materials, construction, setup, operation, teardown, storage, and eventually repairs. I'll give you my perspective of my own haunt just for comparison. In my first few years, I spent odd moments on my phone, waiting for a family member to come out of a store, settling in to go to sleep at night, just doing my research and planning all year long. And then as soon as the Halloween season arrived, I spent more and more time working on builds leading all the way up to Halloween. And I found that it became a lot in a short amount of time, and that got to be exhausting. I mean, not only was I crunching everything into a very short window of time, but I was also thinking about it all year long, and so in either respect, it's just too much on a person. So now what I end up doing is I give myself a break after Halloween and Christmas is all put away. I give myself a break up until the springtime, usually around the start of May, and then I start to get back into the planning and everything through late spring and into summer. I'm trying to get to a point where all my builds and everything are done in the summertime, and that way I can relax a little more at the end of the summer. I don't have everything weighing on me as the season approaches, and I'm getting towards that goal. I'm doing pretty good, but every project requires a different amount of effort and energy, and so I just found that I need to measure that out. And I know that, for instance, the build time for a project takes me roughly 10 hours. I could split that up, like I said earlier, over weekends, but or try to get it done all at once, whatever it may be. But that's the average towards constructing new builds. And then when the Halloween season arrives, I need about 15 hours of setup time in the season. And I always take the day of Halloween off. I'm getting to a point now where I'm taking the day before Halloween off of work as well. And then you actually run the haunt on Halloween. I haven't gotten to the point where I start to do things throughout the month of October. I just cram it all into one day. But in time, we'll see what happens. And then usually the teardown, that's going to be a couple more hours of just bringing things into the garage, getting it organized and put away. And so in total, you're probably doing a rough calculation already at 35 to 40 hours tops. And you're thinking, Pete, that's not too bad, right? No, I guess it's not. In comparison to professional home haunters, 35 to 40 hours is nothing. But let me put it to you in another way. That's like watching 20 movies, okay? And to watch 20 movies in a row, who would want that? I don't. So I wouldn't want that all at once. Certainly don't want that at the last minute, and I'm going to advise that you not do that to yourself either. If you do save it all to the last minute, then it's going to be like a big ugly monster, everything just stacked up, staring you in the face until you tackle it, and you don't want that either. And then on the flip side of this, I also want to advise that if this really is a passion for you, and you do eventually want to take this to the max, home haunting will be something that can encompass so much of your time and energy that, let me tell you, for instance, there's a group of folks over in California, that a really great community of haunters out there. They have described themselves as, from Labor Day all the way to October, every spare moment they have is just spent on building the haunt. That's just building. That's not all the other stuff that it takes to go into it. That's just putting it together on their property. So if you really do take this to the max, just remember that that's what you could be in store for if you don't put a limit on on where things need to be. And most haunters don't like to put a limit on what they can do. So carefully consider how large you want your haunt to get and how fast you want that to happen. If you've gotten to this point in my video and you're hearing a lot of this stuff for the first time, you're probably thinking to yourself, what have I gotten myself into? Or maybe you're feeling the other way. Maybe you're feeling like I've spent all this time listening to all this prep work and I haven't even gotten into the fun part. I haven't even gotten to learn how to build something. And you're right, okay? This is not the fun part. This is the beginning. This is laying the foundation for something. And in a lot of ways, this is like starting a business, okay? It's not fun, it's necessary. It's hard work and it's a lot of planning. So proper prior preparation prevents poor performance. That's it. That's all there is to it. And I'll remind you, like I said before, if you're serious about becoming a haunter, then this really is a lifestyle choice. As you begin your haunter lifestyle, you'll be riddled with learning skills like woodworking, sculpting, painting, audio-visual, all kinds of things that you can use to become more self-reliant around the house. You'll be spending more time in your garage or your workshop than you ever thought you would, so you better like that kind of work. Plus, you will be investing in more equipment, which is an unplanned, unexpected expenditure above and beyond your haunt. The harsh realities of life. You want to spend your money on all the cool, fun stuff, but you have to spend it on the things you need. Maybe even things you didn't even know you needed. There's no way to predict what your impact is going to be to your finances or your schedule, because everybody has different ambitions, different proficiencies, and different ownerships of tools. That's why I'm advising so much about you writing things down ahead of time and planning, because everyone's different. And you won't know what you can handle or what you can do until you start. And you don't need to go Mach 10 to get there. I said it before, I'll say it again, your family and friends are more important. This should be an outlet for you and everyone around you to de-stress. And while I make mention of your loved ones, this is a fantastic opportunity for you to do things with the people in your life. If you have kids, maybe they'd love to be doing something right alongside you. If you have a spouse, who knows? They might be better at a certain activity than you. Find out. Make it fun. If you really are on board with this, if you really do want to travel down the road that few have taken, it has its rewards. I hope you find joy in it. I really do. The world needs more haunters. There's nothing like creating something on your own. Seeing the emotions that you can provoke in other people. Watching a child's imagination develop from something that you made. Watching someone face their fears. These things are magical, and this is the reason why we do this. I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you. I encourage you to hit the subscribe button. Also, if you want to be notified when new content comes out, then hit the bell next to the subscribe button and be sure to turn on the notification feature within your profile. Also, if you enjoyed this video, I ask that you hit the like button, but otherwise, your viewership is enough for me. And until next time, stay safe and happy haunting.